If your role has anything to do with the project management, like project manager, program manager, portfolio manager, delivery coordinator, or a scrum master, this podcast is for you. Make sure you watch through the end. While AI is sweeping jobs for many, I have a good news for you, project managers. Any job related to project management will continue to rise over 10 years. I'm not saying this. US Bureau of Labor Statistics published a report this year that says project management related jobs will rise by 6%. PwC study published another report in July this year says all jobs are at rise worldwide. They are telling this based on studying over 1 billion job openings posted globally. AI is at rise, so does every job. You just have to comply with AI, guys. Don't get afraid of it. Learn AI fast. Align your role quickly with this damn thing. And enjoy the future. I did a podcast with former chairman of PMI, Antonio Nieto Rodriguez. I believe PMI doesn't need any introduction. Neither does Antonio. We talked about why AI projects are failing, what companies should do to increase success rate, and how PMO can play a big role into all this. AI projects are failing big time, and PMO can actually fill the gap. I have recently published an article that how to fill gap between CX and AI with PMO. I'll share the link of that article also in the description. Okay, what do I have today for you? Today, I brought to you our guest Kailash Upadhyay, a seasoned project management leader, highly respected trainer who mentored thousands of leaders worldwide get their certifications and credentials, build their PMO systems, and even created the whole training ecosystem in the project management learning. We discussed how PMI is redefining PM guidelines, what certifications are good for you and why. There are PMP, PgMP, PFMP, risk management, Agile, bunch of others. Okay, what's good for you? You will learn from this podcast. We also talked about the fundamental differences in projects, programs, and portfolio. That's where the most leaders get confused and using these terms in different occasions in different purposes. So let's make sure you are clear for your future that what these terms are. We also discussed a few other interesting stories from the real world perspective. Make sure you watch through the end to find path for your success straight from the one who defines that every day and every night. Without taking any further of your time, let us dive in to the episode. Welcome, Kailash. Thank you for being on the show.
No, it's pleasure now for meeting you here. I think so. Let's have the great session. Thank you for inviting me here.
I would like to talk to you, especially, I don't think any conversation can happen without AI these days.
Absolutely.
And
I
there are
agree.
news. I mean, United States is facing the biggest layoff year in history. So far, United States have the corporates, companies lay off hundreds and thousands of people so far. I mean, the year is still counting. What I come to know from just a couple months back, Department of US Bureau of Labor Statistics, they published a report that project management people are still in demand. Over the next 19 years, country is seeking 6% growth in project management people. While AI is replacing a lot of roles in the corporate sector, a lot of administrative jobs are going, project management, of course, it is smart, but heavy lifting is still about the tasks management, like schedule management, cost management, scope management, which can be automated to an extent. But why you think project management roles are still in demand despite AI is replacing almost everything on the job market? What's your take on it, Kailash?
I think so. This is a great opening question, Nav, and I definitely agree with you in some way that AI is if I'll not say replacing people, but at least it is making the numbers. We don't need so many people today as a team member, and we have so much of automation where the AI is supporting us. But let's talk about project management. Why project management numbers are growing and project management demand is still growing? Because these are the leaders who have the power skills, who have the business acumen, and who also have to understand the different way of working. if I tell you that we have seen so much of, I want to tell you that AI is a technical landscape. Okay.
Yeah.
And project management is much bigger, environment than just a technology itself. So today, the project manager, they have to select the right way of working. What PMI say, choose your wow way of working. So even choosing the artificial intelligence and the different way the AI can help you rightly said, automating the schedule part of it, automating the risk related visibility part of it, that the project manager will certainly use artificial intelligence in its project environment. But selecting those right AI tools for handling risk, including the stakeholder engagement related tools, and so that there are somebody who really want the project manager have to select the right the way of working. And this entire AI is or maybe agile, the lean, they comes into if you look into that PMI talent triangle, the way of working, power skills, and the business acumen. So I think this agile, whether you call it Scrum, Safe, or artificial intelligence, they're all under this one angle called, the way of working, which is primarily a very tactical angle. But project management is much bigger than just a tactical landscape. It's more about, not artificial intelligence. Project management is more about, I can say, emotional intelligence. And I always believe that, emotional intelligence is, understanding what the stakeholder wants, what your partner wants. Because see, project management is not influenced by just one organization who is investing their resources into the project. But project management is influenced by the funding organization, the supplier organization, the the compliance and regulatory organization, the customer organization. So project management has influence of more than one organization. Project manager have to not just manage the the way of working such as AI, but it has to primarily manage the stakeholder which are not within the organization, which are outside the organization. Say even supplier today, supplier bargaining power is increasing. Today, customer bargaining power is increasing. See, if you see the Michael Porter's article, the HBR article, Harvard Business Review article, if you say somewhere in the 1979, he wrote this article about 5 forces that can shape organization strategy. And this is the project which is, whenever those strategies are changing, the project manager have to drive that change within the organization. So what I want to tell you, project manager demand will only grow because they will have to understand the business environment, which is not just a project, what's happening within the projects and how to manage the technology, but what is happening in the entire business landscape and so on. So that is what I think that, the project management demand will, multiply in coming days, where organization will always seek for who can, who can provide this organization, select the, right projects, align those projects to the business objective, and the project manager can drive those, changes that projects is driving those changes. That is why I believe that, the project management role will certainly will grow, where that more tactical job, where people who only doing some kind of task-based job, there will certainly be a lot of AI automation going to create impact.
Your argument is very valid about the emotional intelligence. I think that's where the differentiator is. Project managers who are smart, who can foresee the human element of, could be risk, mistake, changes. That is not something that data can come outside and predict without even knowing the patterns.
Absolutely.
The future of AI is heading towards AGI, where the heavy lifting and huge investment is happening, and the battle is going on with big giant organization, corporate billions of dollars is being invested. I think AGI might influence this prediction about PM role demand. But as of now, what we see, and I was talking to Antonio, the former chairman of PMI, few weeks ago, and we discussed about how AI is impacting, why AI projects are failing. It's over 80% of AI initiatives are failing. Okay. And we talked about like what's the pattern of that huge failure. Billions of dollars are being wasted because of unplanned initiatives. Companies are jumping into AI implementations. And what Antonio mentioned was AI is an experiment. Many of those initiatives are not projects. Projects terms is being overrated here right now. I mean, they call it projects, but they're not projects. And he has some good arguments over it, and I'll share the that episode link also in description, because it's very important conversation to talk about the same topic that we are discussing, Kailash. But to your point, AI is future. I mean, we all have to evolve with that. Experts also say like AI will not actually replace people. AI will replace people who don't know how to use AI, which makes sense. And project managers have to evolve alongside AI, can still develop human part of the job and can still succeed. More or less, if researchers at US Bureau of Labor Statistics and other reports also I'm referring to, I'll share, but all these reports are pointing towards growth of project managers. And this is a huge advantage, huge opportunity. Don't stay back. Don't just feel like, oh, we are safe. You can still be replaced if you stay behind, if you don't learn the new way of working and new way of success. PMI Pulse, those new project Acumens, we all should learn. You want to share your experience about since PMI, PMBOK has been updated with project Acumens lately, where do you see that change has influenced the market success? I mean, those are really valuable Acumens, but I want to hear from you, your experience, and how you see people have grown after learning those Acumens and got certified, and is that a good change? What is your opinion on that?
I think so. What you're talking about, the three domain of project management, of course, people, processes, and the business environment. Okay, I think so. And business environment is nothing but understanding what's happening, not within the project, but what's happening in the environment in which the projects is operating. And for that, you need that business acumen. And I also, if I see that PMI talent triangle, business acumen talks about, how effective decision making a project manager role can be. Okay. Project manager takes so many decisions during the project life cycle. And now I'll tell you that AI can give you the speed, but AI can't give you that acumen, frankly saying. What I want to tell you that, this is great, great contribution to the PMBOK guide, where though only 8% of the total weightage is given to the business environment, to the business acumen aspect of project management, where people domain focuses on 42% of the project management area, processes domain focus on 50% of the project domain, area, business environment, business acumen, they only, consist of 8%. But I'm glad that I have, being myself a trainer since 2007, I have been delivering the PMP training now. And I have seen that in this area, people are still not getting very good, I can say they are still getting need improvement or below target score, where they are very good in handling people, very good in handling the processes. But in terms of the business acumen, in terms of understanding the business environment, there, project management still have lot of area of improvement. And I'm glad that what you rightly said, PMI has brought this business acumen, business environment aspect into project management. And that is why today in this, we say VUCA world. VUCA means volatility, uncertainty, complexity, where ambiguity is so much into they are political. You are based in US. There's so much of today, I think so much of political, I will not talk much. I don't know how it will be taken, but I just want to political uncertainties. There's so many things I want to talk, but I don't want to make this political thing, but I'll just tell you the politics creating lot of change. Okay. Where people are, if one example I quote here, you may have seen that the new Trump policy about H1B visa, where H1B visa, there almost 1 million is the fee he has increased, which is $1,000 to $100,000. So what now that will impact, lot of this skills lack will happen. And now this project management field or the project management role, they need to understand now how this political environment can influence the project success. Because this environment, though we say it's environmental influence, though we say it's not in our control, but we need to be aware of in which environment the project is operating. Also, economical change are happening very rapidly. You seeing the economical growth, the gross domestic product, the GDP.
Right.
You know that US GDP is not growing even at the rate of 1%, and the economical, and they will certainly influence project. Okay. So in this, what I want to, and there are technology influence, technology is changing every alternate days today. Okay. So project management need to understand that in this changing business environment, whether it's a technology change, whether it's a political change, whether it's a economical change, how to navigate those complexity into that business environment, how to optimize the resources. There are many times what happening that projects are even project priorities are changing very often, where today you have some resources committed via your project charter, but tomorrow some other projects are becoming suddenly very in demand, and now you have been asked to release resource but still deliver the same value.
Happens all the time.
Yeah. So now you have to, in this environment, you have to have that business acumen, saying that how can you, with the current capacity, current capability, how can you handle this change, which has, came into the project environment, and how not to give up. Because normally people or the project manager who do not have this business acumen, they get frustrated, they give up, and they start blaming the leadership team. But there are few those project manager who has the business acumen. They still try to look into the all their project experience and see how can they handle these resource, as I said, the capacity, the demand and supply of resources, how they can handle the risk part of it, and then can still deliver the value and meet the stakeholder, the business leader expectations from that particular project. So I feel business acumen going to be really very important in project management role, and PMI did wonderful by bringing this side. There are two topics they have said in the PMBOK guide, the benefit management plan versus the business case. These are the business document for the projects. So how that business case continuously evolve when this environment is evolving, because not many project manager, earlier had so much of experience about business case. They just used to think project is just a tactical initiative within the organization, delivering some incremental product within the constraints of some scope, schedule, cost. But today they understand it's not just a tactical initiative, but it's an strategic initiative, and that they have to work on the business side of the project, and for that business acumen is the core essential elements now. That's what I want to tell you here.
Totally makes sense, and great points, Kailash. What I have seen, especially when we talk about corporate leaders in the C-suite, not everyone come from the project management background. Some can come from marketing side, accountancy side, procurement side, finance, and it could be any department that made them to lead towards the C-suite. But project managers might come from technical side, might come from business management side. Okay, and they got certified and they gain experience and they become project managers at some point. But PMI emphasizes on business acumen to understand the strategic angle of those projects so they can deliver value. But there is a disconnect here a little bit between the leadership and the technology team, and project manager in between gets screwed up to an extent. That person cannot map the value and the ability of the team to deliver that value. Where do you think we can fill this gap so that like leaders understand what is being delivered and that has value? Who is accountable? Is it project manager, leaders, team? Like who is accountable? And one more point, like how can you suggest this gap can be filled and the value is delivered? Because they might not understand languages of each other, and project manager is the one who understands both languages and
Absolutely.
and become a bridge. And like how can project managers fill that gap of experiences and knowledges and value versus capacity and capability of the team and the business value?
Absolutely. Now I think so. Another great question. What I feel, project manager. If I again bring that power skill angle, if I bring even the empathy, the active listening, even the conflict management. These are all part of the power skill angle of the project management talent triangle. Also, as I said, the business acumen aspect is nothing but effective decision making. I think so. The point I want to drive here is how the project manager can show progress to the project team, and how can share the or have a shared vision. It is the project manager understand the vision of the project, which we also called understand the business need of the project. What are the problem the projects is trying to solve? What are the opportunity the project is trying to exploit the opportunity? That is what project manager is have the understanding, where he understand the management angle, the leadership angle, where after all the strategic planning meeting, when all hands call happens, when town hall happens, these project manager are always being they are the interface where they drive the implementation part of it. The solution delivery team, or this tactical team or technology team, whatever you call them. It is how they can have the purpose of why are we introducing the change. Let me tell you now, when I was into the similar project management role, I still remember those year in 2005, 2004. I was working with one Hungarian-based company. I don't want to name the company right now in this podcast, but I was part of this Hungarian company, and I was part of the the solution delivery team. I was the solution architect and was the database architect, and I still remember the project lead. His name was Guru Murthy. His name and every time when our solution was very much stable, we were delivering all the solution functional requirement, non-functional requirement, where everything was in track, and suddenly some new change has been pushed on us. And as you know that now, change will have its own risk. It will bring, now we have to adapt this solution and, to the new business requirement kind of things and all. But that is the point of time, I used to get frustrated. I used to always think that, why this project manager is unnecessarily bringing this change at this stage of the project, where we can, the scope baseline has been already met, or we are in track, everything is going on track, and now we are making some changes into the, the solution, the product or services which the project is delivering. But
Thanks and risk too. Yeah.
But then I understand that, it is those, and I had some session. I still remember some of those sessions which I had with my project, and because I think so, my project manager have realized that I know I'm not happy with this change is happening and all. So I remember that those conversations with the project manager, he asked me, that Kailash, you are a good solution architect, you are a good solution delivery team member, but you need to also understand the business. If the customer requirement are changing, the competition landscape is changing, and if you do not change our product, and this product will never be useful, and the customer, it will never meet. So it is because of those customer requirement, it is because of the environmental changes, we have to make these changes into the solution, the functional side of the solution which the project is trying to deliver. So I think so that is that project manager that point of time was a nice bridge. He explained me the vision of that particular project, and the need for that change in the particular project. And that is what I want to tell you, that project manager role is that integrator. PMI says project management, most important skills the project management require is not solution, not some technical skills, not risk management skills, not schedule, it's integration skills. Project management have to be an integrator, because in project team, there will be a risk manager, there will be a quality manager, there will be a procurement manager, there will be a resource manager who will be supporting the project manager, okay? And who will be developing the risk manager will develop the risk management plan. The procurement manager in the project team will develop procurement management plan. But who will integrate all of these subsidiary plan into the holistic project management plan? Who will share the vision that, how these different team will integrate and will work toward a common vision of that particular project? And that is very, very important now. The project manager job is that integration. That's what PMI is telling us from last so many years. And I really love that side of project management, which I have learned from PMBOK guide, that, you be the integration role. You integrate how the risk aspect of it, how the the cost aspect of the project, the quality aspect of the project, and all of these other again you can saw the tactical part of the project, and share that the various business driver of the project, and ensuring that have that communication flow. That is what is the project management job, and making it a project successful and team aligned to project objective.
No, this is a great explanation. I am seeing little overlap is happening lately with these new project Acumens being introduced of PMP and PgMP, because they both are delivering business value. Of course, previously it's been understood as project managers are accountable to complete the project, not deliver anything. To complete the project within time, scope, and cost regular constraints. If that is met, regardless of the value being delivered or not, the project is considered successful. And PgMP on the other side was referred as program managers, professionals who actually deliver business value, focus on outcome to the strategic alignment. And now PMP supports that same element as well through new PMBOK Acumens.
Yeah.
Where do you see the differentiator right now, and why a person should go for PMP certification versus PgMP certification? And I'll get to PFMP later on, because I'm seeing overlaps now with this new updates by PMI. And also, I want to touch later on with why not Scrum Master? It's more flexible. I mean, again, let's get back to that later. But for now, PMP and PgMP, what's the clear differentiator, and why someone should focus on which one to go for first?
I think so. Thank you for asking this question now. I want to definitely, share my understanding, being have been trained so many people around the world in this subject. Okay, and you rightly said project management area where this business environment aspect, and there are, you rightly said, lot of overlap is definitely there. Okay, the PMP or the PMBOK or the program management professional guide, the standard for program management. But first of all, now we need to understand that project can either be a program component or can be a portfolio component. It must be part of either a program or a portfolio. Okay.
Yeah.
The point is the project manager, when if I have to talk about the PMP versus the PgMP, here it is about the shared benefit. Of course, projects delivers benefit. Okay, there are project manager who now no longer just focus on delivering the product or service, but they are also, their role is evolved to deliver the benefit out of that project which they are managing. But program management is about those interrelated projects and realizing the benefit which if these projects would be managed in silos, those benefit will not be achieved. I'll tell you an example. I've seen in many time, I see for the same client now, at a given point of time, 4 projects are running simultaneously. Do you agree with me? In your experience also, you may have seen that, if you are some consulting or you are some solution provider to some company, multiple projects are running simultaneously for your client, kind of thing. But the program management, if I bring this from the principal perspective, PMI in the standard for program management, the 5th edition, there are 8 principles. They have defined 8 principles, and of course the stakeholder principle, the first one, the benefit realization, the synergy, the team of team, the leadership, the change, the risk, and the governance. These are the 8 principles which are part of the program management guide, okay, which is the reference for the PgMP certification exam. If I tell you from this, I want to answer this question, the clear distinction between PMP and PgMP from the synergy principle perspective. Synergy means, what the standard for program management says, that, it is much more than the sum of the individual component part. That means if the project are performed in silos, let's say they are performed in silos within the portfolio, not under the program. Let's assume that hypothetically, we are not managing project under program, we are managing projects under the portfolio. And each projects are managed in silos. Every project manager is leading those projects and something. But program management is more about, if we can, for the same client, if we have 3 projects running simultaneously, many times we see that these projects, if the synergy angle is explored among these 3 projects, which is running in silos for the client, then I think so if the synergy, they are managed under the program and the synergy principle can be built in, then the benefit can be maximized, which otherwise this individual project will rarely give. I'm not saying the individual project will still deliver some benefit, but program management is all about how through synergy, how through team of teams, because there are different project teams are working for the same client. Okay, this is another principle called team of teams. That means, having a network relationship. The team should not think that, okay, I'm working for this client, another team is also working for the client. See, again, it's a similar concept like Scrum of Scrum. There's a Scrum team and there's a Scrum of Scrum event. In Scrum, Scrum, what happens, all the Scrum team, after or during their Scrum, their sprint, they meet at least once in that sprint to share the, the knowledge, share the experiences, so that, they can maximize the benefit and the product benefit which all of the Scrum team is working to. Because ultimately, the product is a common factor. There are multiple Scrum team who's working on the same product. So there's a Scrum of Scrum. Similarly, in program management, if I have to correlate with that, it's a team of team. So where if all their individual project may be managing their resources, their risk, but imagine that if we can, even let's say procurement, if we can manage procurement at the program level, we don't have to do so many procurement at individual project level, where we manage procurement at the program level and all the centralized vendor management and so much of better handling of procurement, better handling. Imagine if risk is looked from the top down, that's what we even the risk management frameworks talks about. How individual projects, synergy, interdependency can be managed. So program management is more about synergy, identifying synergy between the projects, and integrating the different teams into one single program team of team principle. And through these, and again through leadership, we are talking about leadership. Leadership principle is all about, again, how these all projects do not think of individualistic approach. They think of larger organizational business value, the business driver for these individual projects. So that is what I feel, PGMP, and if you look it from the domain perspective, again, I said PMP domain are people, process, and of course, business environment, that's only 8%. But the program management is all about strategy, the strategy domain, the governance domain, the collaboration domain, and these principles. So program management is, this role is much more strategic role, who just not driving the one single initiative, but who is focusing on the larger benefit realization aspect, and ensuring that the same projects deliver much more benefit, which the projects, if not integrated under the program, will never be achieved. So program management is all about those aspects now, and that is why program management role going to be in much more demand in coming days. That's what I want to tell you.
I have also seen project manager title has been overused for different roles also. Like I hardly have seen program manager position. Okay, there are positions, but even more rare for the portfolio manager. Okay, all of these directly or indirectly referred as project managers by the leaders, by references, by HR at some point, right?
Yes.
They just manage different scale of project or projects, but typically the default understanding in this role is that everyone is project manager. It could be multiple projects at the same time, which can be mapped into program manager role, but again, still project manager is the title being used.
Yeah.
I mean, if we look at opening jobs right now in the market, I don't know the number, but my hard guess is over 90% of the roles are listed as project managers, where when you get into description, you will see, oh, this is the program manager level of experience required. This is like even higher level of experience required. And like there is, every project manager is expected to deliver business value aligned with leadership for strategic purpose, work with multiple teams, run multiple projects at the same time, and also take care of cost, finances, and I mean everything, right? So it's pretty much everything, and hardly any team have multiple project managers. I mean, there are multiple projects going on and only one person is managing all those for them. And that is what I have personally seen working with corporates and big giant companies too. There are different project managers in different departments, but within same teams, there are only a handful of project managers who just collaborate and deliver the holistic value together. And one of them is like the senior most in most cases. So how does it different going through PMP or PGMP route versus Agile, Scrum? And there are other models also, SAFe and things like that. And that's more in demand. And leadership understands. Sometimes I feel bad about it. Like leaders in those rooms decide, oh, let's go Agile. It's better. It's faster. And then they think like things will start happening magically. And we can push in changes anytime without even knowing the impact. Again, like it's an education issue, but what do you think, like why PMP, PGMP, PMI, PMI Agile, or any Agile-based certification is useful? Like, or everything should be done? Like, it's too much effort. Any expert opinion from your side about these certifications, and if even it is important to do, just learn it and don't do the certification. What is the difference? I mean, just your insights on this. What I have seen is like in corporates, working with them, like the role is used interchangeably many times, like project manager, program managers, portfolio managers. This is one part of it. And most of the times they are known as project managers while they are managing different scale of projects or multiple projects at the same time, or working with multiple groups at the same time, which is again, like, it's still called project managers. When it comes to certification, PMP is the most popular certification in the project management world, right? And everyone is going after PMP because even regardless of the scale of job or opening, the minimum requirement at times is like must have PMP certification or at least desired PMP certification. Never mention PgMP, PFMP. This is one thing. Second thing is, why PMP when they expect people to work on Agile models? Okay, most companies now look for going Scrum, going Agile. Okay, and they do daily Scrums and they manage backlogs, they have product owners, but they desire for PMP. Okay, hardly mention Scrum Master or even in the title for Scrum Master. They hire project managers expected to run projects in Agile way. Okay, because leaders think going Agile is more flexible and they can do anything at any time and expect magic to happen suddenly when they go Agile. Then are certifications really important? If yes, which one should be done? Okay, or if more than one, what are those? And then does certification really make good project managers or Scrum Masters?
See, now I'll also tell you the funny part of it. In some of the organization I have personally worked, you'll not believe it, where program manager is reporting to project manager. Can you believe this?
Okay.
Trust God, I have seen this happening. And it is not a small organization. It is a big organization. So you rightly said where some of these organization, where these roles are not very clearly defined. Okay.
Yeah,
And you
that's a
rightly
problem.
said, where a project title, he has to manage from strategy to benefit to the product delivery. Everything have to be managed by that particular, one single person sometime, so this role overlap is, I definitely agree with you, where organization has still not understood that project management role is different, program management role is different, and also the portfolio management role is different. And and even sometimes the PMO role, creating the PMO who will support the project manager, program manager, and portfolio manager. Sometimes they think that project manager is also will handle the PMO job. Even all of these things which I have definitely seen happening in many organizations. Even when some organization I do some kind of consulting, where this the role of program manager is not being known. When if you tell them, okay, let's create a program manager role which is above the project manager, who will look more on the strategy side of the project, who will look more of the governance side of multiple projects, which can maximize the benefit. But it is difficult sometimes to convince to some of these leaders, because the rigid mindset, and where they still the adaptability, the agile mindset is still not there, because they have been the same way of working. Is imagine a person who is leading an organization from last 30 years, last 40 years. Now you tell them have a new way of working sometime, or create the different role. It is going to be this is so what you're saying is absolutely correct. In project management, program manager, where they are different specialized role, but in organization they're all put under the project manager designation kind of things and all. But what I believe that now as these PMI certification, and if you see this PMI, PgMP and PFMP certification are still from last so many years. I have been almost more than a decade when I am delivering these program management training, portfolio management training. And if you see the numbers in the whole world, if you see the portfolio management number is not more than 3,000, in whole world, if you can see this. And same thing in the program manager is just under not even 9,000, 8,000, 9,000. That's the only number we have. Okay.
Yeah.
So one is, I think so, and that is why, program and portfolio management certification, when they will come, when they will really able to, see that program manager role is not just managing a project and delivering just a product, but delivering the benefit out of these incremental product which multiple projects are delivering. Take an example, iPhone. iPhone is a product. In iPhone, there are so many projects are running. There's a project could be to create a camera of iPhone, project to create battery of the iPhone camera, and the charging solution of the iPhone, and also you see that the body, the chassis, the screen, all these are individual. They are individual project. And imagine that if these projects manager working in silos, and where there is no program manager role who doesn't know how to integrate all the project solutions. If the camera, is camera dimension, camera where to put in where in the chassis the placement will be done, how, so the program manager have to think, how that multiple projects can, the incremental product or incremental solution which these projects are delivering, how those can be integrated, and how that can, and just like a project, program is also a temporary endeavor. That's what we know. Now, what we are trying to tell you that, today iPhone came with iPhone 16, tomorrow iPhone 17 will come. So program manager job is to also ensure that what I'm trying to tell you is how look in the strategic side of the chain. What the standard for program management says, projects is mostly driving the tactical side of the change. Okay, delivering the benefit of just a camera. If let's say I am the project manager who's creating the camera for the iPhone, for me, my success will only be measured by, okay, I have been given specs for the camera. 48 megapixel front camera, 50 megapixel front camera, and 150 megapixel. I think so that is what is the specs. I don't know what are the latest specs of the iPhone camera. But imagine if I am the project manager for that camera product of the iPhone, I'm only thinking of just an camera. But now the program manager who have to think, because that iPhone will not become successful only by camera. It have to, it will, how the, the interface, how the charging mechanism, how the battery capacity, how the, the storage handling, the processing. So there are so many projects are running. And imagine that for iPhone to be successful, just a camera may be awesome camera. But let's say, the battery is getting, if you charge for 15 minutes, the battery is producing so much of heat. Then who will buy this? Who will buy this new iPhone? Because so individual projects.
These kind of issues happened
with
antenna on iPhone. Yeah,
absolutely. So what we are trying to tell you, program manager job is ensuring the whole product become successful and realize the benefit. Which otherwise, as I said, that very definite say individual project may deliver the benefit. Of course, camera. 150 megapixel camera, which may be the latest camera which a project manager will deliver as per his that camera skills and all those things. But the program manager have to think how the whole product meet the business objective of that Apple Inc. Incorporation. So as an organization, so program manager role is how this interrelated projects come together. They do not think just individual aspect of it. Think the larger. And wherever they can share resources, share expertise, share knowledge, and, sequence the project, prioritize the project. That is what the, program manager role, again, having that common vision toward that product, not just, okay, my camera is successful, or my battery has 10,000 mAh power. Yeah, that's the whole product will fail. Individual project manager can't celebrate the success. Okay. That is what I want to tell you. I think so. This going to take time, as this program management domain itself is evolving. More and more people are now started taking, because this is what is now in today's AI world. Also, the organization want how the whole product can become successful rather than the individual part of that particular product. Actually, so one is that role overlapping, which was there, but I think so. Now the clarity is coming. That's the first part of that question. Now, the second part is about, now if I talk about the SAFe, about the Scrum, and about the even the other let's say Kanban, they are different. They are different. This again, they are all under the, as I earlier said, this any AI methodology, whether it's a Kanban, whether it's a even this DevOps, even these Scrum, Safe, or any other framework or methodology. What I want to tell you, talking about which is good, which is bad, that probably we can talk it separately. They are different way of working.
You rightly said about the difference of PMP and PgMP, portfolio manager. These are great references, and I think everything is important. It's just an understanding, regardless of the name, what the role is and what are they doing for the company. But when Agile is the more important side, as I said, like leaders expect to go Agile and they expect magic to start happening right away, and they can manage it in their own ad hoc way. But Agile has its own protocols, rules. When those certifications are important, first of all, and our certification is really important.
Let me tell you, Agile is all about how quickly we can adapt to change. Yeah, Agile is a change-driven, not a plan-driven. The predictive or Agile is adaptive or the modern way of working, and the waterfall or predictive, which are more plan-driven. But now let me ask you this question. Today we are seeing that, if you look into 5-year, 10-year, or 15-year back, the lot of predictability was there. Today, predicting the environment is very, very difficult. Today, the change we have to pivot really very fast, actually, and that is where Agile will give us that wings. We can't predict today. The waterfall way of doing project is rarely, as I said, because of the technology, influence, the technology is changing so very fast. You can't predict one way of working and the same way will continue for next maybe 1 year, 2 year duration. Today,
True.
I think so adaptability and, not just the technology, as I said, the economical currency value, the economical aspect of the environment, the gross domestic product, the labor exchange rate, there are inflation. These are all creating so much of changes. Okay, so what I'm trying to tell you, Agile is it gives you that flexibility to design a solution where you do not do too much planning. If I take the Scrum framework, one sprint could be between 1 to 4 weeks, not more than that. And Scrum says the shorter the sprint, the better it is. I think so. I really understood this. It only happened why the sprint and why the shorter the sprint, because the change are so very fast. We have to change too quickly today. And so think of the legacy way of project management where you create the whole project scope, create the whole WBS, take all the sign off, and then start the execution of the project. But today you don't, because sometimes even the customer has no clarity of exactly what is he needs.
That's true.
He just want more empirical way, more experimental way. He just want you to give him some product. He will use it. He will do some pilot of it, and he will say, okay, yeah, this is what I want, or this is I don't want. So in today's environment, the Agile, whether it's a Scrum, whether it's a Kanban has its own, it's a flow-based methodology. Okay, you can, of course, you can limit the work in progress, how much work should go. But again, it's, eliminating this all Scrum, Safe, they all come under the lean umbrella. How to eliminate the waste, how to, create the product, go quickly to the customer, test it, and do not, otherwise, if you go the traditional way, we creating the whole product and customer, we are going, and by the time customer is getting the product, maybe the product, the technology have evolved, and the product become obsolete. So that is why today I want to tell you that, these framework, Agile is really, really very important, where customers sometimes have so much of ambiguity. What does he want? Where He's just asking you a proposal, request for proposal, RFP. He's just telling you, okay, I have some vague understanding of what I want. But, earlier there used to be design scope. Design means full scope. Scope used to happen, that the bid used to happen on the scope, and the customer used to do the bidder conference and used to explain the clarity about the scope. But today, rarely such bidder conference or pre-bid conference. Today,
It
I
doesn't
think so.
happen.
It doesn't. It's not happening today. Customer himself is saying that let's not plan too much futuristic. Let's plan what we have the clarity right now. Let's deliver it, and then we will keep adapting as our requirement evolve, as our solution will evolve. We will keep evolving. So that is where Agile will give you that flexibility. Whether we use Safe, whether we use Scrum. Of course, they are different frameworks. Safe is a different framework, more enterprise agility kind of things and all. So, but yeah, Agile is leaders definitely want the project manager to have the agility skills. They really want that today, not just, of course, in some project where the scope is clear, then use the traditional method, the waterfall method. But today, that's why the hybrid approach are more popular, where if the scope is clear, do it in maybe a 6-month scope, you can deliver in one go. But if scope is not clear, just deliver the scope for 1 week scope and go to the customer, get the customer UAT done, and then evolve the requirements. So more hybrid approach are also becoming popular, where the changing between the traditional and the modern way of working, which is waterfall, and the agile way of working are also becoming very, very common and popular now.
No, that is perfectly okay. Certifications are good to have, but
That is what I will.
understanding methodologies are important, right?
Yeah.
And execution to deliver the value is important. Where do you see PMO's contribution into all this? Is PMO really exists in today's world? I mean, I haven't seen like a PMO sort of group in last 10 years, I would say. Okay. Are these, is PMO role going away? Is it being killed? Because PMO's one of the responsibilities to maintain the culture in the organization alongside HR to maintain the decorum and be focused on the business and deliver value all together as one group. What is going on with PMO these days, and how culture is evolving? Like, is it project manager's responsibility? It is HR's responsibility, and like, or it is like an education thing, corporate wide? What do you think?
Let me answer that question. Certification now, are certification really important? I think so. That is one question you asked me. Or just a skill set of having understanding of Agile or Scrum, whether that is sufficient. Okay, that's what I think so. That part of the question, we can go a little bit of more detail, if you allow me, sharing my thought on that actually. Now are certification really relevant? And let's look it into from the two side, whether are we looking at from the individual who is getting certified, or are we looking from the corporate or the enterprise side? Do they want a certified people, or do they want an experienced people? This is what is the, I think so, more valid question. That's what I feel, and I would like to share my thought on that side, because we do a lot of certification. I am also certification trainer, do a lot of Scrum training and all those things now. Yeah. So what I want to tell you, if I look at from the individual side, let's say I myself do so many certification. I've done a Microsoft certification. I'm Microsoft certified trainer and Microsoft certified professional. I am IIBA, International Institute of Business Analysis, CBAP certified business analysis professional. Though I have got the great hands-on experience on the BA-BOK, the business analysis body of knowledge framework from IIBA, but I still went for the certification. When I look at from individual, I'm not looking as an employer right now. I'm just looking individual, how the certification will benefit me. Let me tell you today, now, the certification gives you that confidence. If I look at from the individual perspective, when I became the CBAP certified, or when I became the PFMP certified, okay, no matter sometime, how much knowledge I have or how many years, I've seen people, people with 30 years of experience who comes to me for certification mentoring. Okay. And when we do session with them, they have so much of depth of portfolio management knowledge, let's say for that certification. Probably as a trainer, I'm learning from them. I want to be very frank, because I always encounter people now where, the people with 30 years, 40 years, they come to certification, okay, and certification mentoring, and sometimes I become so overwhelmed by the depth of knowledge they have about that particular subject. But then certification will really help them, because even prove their credibility within the organization. And even when they are thinking of, there have been people who working last 30 years in the same organization. Now it is at that point, some people also wants to move into a new challenge, because they are not facing the challenge in the same organization, because from last 30 year or last 20 year in the same organization, there a lot of comfort zone has come. They have become comfortable. Even the management is comfortable with them.
Upgrades
So
are important. Yeah,
yeah,
upgrades
so
are important in the
upgrades are
career.
important,
Right.
and the certification, and also no matter how much knowledge we have now, the PMI certification are called global standards. If you already know that,
Yes.
you yourself are, it's a global.
Yeah.
So there are always so much things to new learning these people get. So certification is definitely help the individual a new learning. Plus, it will build their credibility, will build their
Yes,
their
right.
the profile, and to for
But it's
next.
still experience that will make them successful. Not
Exactly.
only certification is gonna make it, but yeah, right.
So
Perfect.
not,
So
yeah,
certifications should be done, but
certification
experience is
should be
important.
done. The experience is definitely important, because sometimes the management thinks that they judge you if you do not do something new. If you do some global certification, and when you show them, okay, I am a PFMP certified, I am let's say CBAP certified, and this is from the body like PMI, body like IIBA, who have so much of credibility. So these people, they are positioning, they can their demands, their bargaining power increase. They can bargain a better projects, they can bargain a better initiative, better role. And I think so that is where the certification will certainly help. One angle which I told you is the new learning. No matter you working from last 30 years, you may have worked in 5 to 10 different organizations, but the PMI framework gives you the knowledge of hundreds of organizations which the PMI has have done the research, and from their learning, the framework has been crafted and defined. So now imagine that if I have worked in if my whole life in last 25 years of my experience, I have worked in 5 organizations. If I would have not done the certification, some of the, let's say, force field analysis, I would have never learned force field analysis. I would have never learned Michael Porter's, the 5 forces model. I would have never learned Harry Markowitz model. I would have never learned, the business model canvas. I would have never learned, the Kaplan model of balance scorecard. So, the global standards give me this, this diverse learning, which I will not get into my just a professional experience wherever I'm working from last 5 year, 10 year, or maybe more than that. So that is why I feel, going the certification way, and you get your confidence. I feel, certification gives you confidence. It puts you on. Imagine you are a PFMP certified and somebody is not a certified. You will always see yourself much more. Qualified, and even same thing the employer will also always see. So I think the certification angle cannot be ruled out. That's what I want to tell you now here.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Great. All right. Yeah. Thank you for sharing your insights, Kailash. So the bottom line is, certifications make you look special, build up your confidence, increase your command in those meetings.
Yes.
Of
yes.
course, everyone should go for certifications, but again, it's still experience that makes them awesome.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Certification alone is not enough,
Yes.
but
yes.
it is a strong foundation in order to career growth. Okay,
Yes.
good. Then coming back to my question again, like about PMO and culture, is PMO really going away? I mean, again, honestly, working with corporates, I don't have seen PMO group as a formal committee to manage all these processes. Of course, there are governance teams, but they are not only for projects. They are like pretty much about the culture, okay, and ethics and compliance, and like there are a bunch of stuff that those governance folks do. Not a PMO that I have seen. And if I go job market, I don't see PMO kind of positions open. Where do you see it's going? Like how PMO's role is evolving? Is it going away? What's the future of PMO and culture implementation? Whose responsibility is that?
PMO role will not, I don't think it will vanish, it will go, because, PMO, you rightly use the word governance. PMO is, see, frankly saying, if you ask me now, I never like this word PMO, which is called Project Management Office or Program Management Office or Portfolio Management Office. There are many organizations, there's something called Center of Excellence, a COE. So, and also today more popular jargon I can tell you is the VDO, Value Delivery Office. So PMO is PMO can never be a management office. PMO doesn't manage project. PMO doesn't manage program. Rather, they support the project manager, they support the program manager, and support means provide them, all that leadership support, all the decision-making support. They are the enabler. PMO is not the doer, they are the enabler. They will train the project manager, they will build the competency. So this is the value delivery office. Okay. So in many organizations now you have seen there's no formal role called PMO, but there's always a role called Center of Excellence. Okay. So in such role, I think so, and I think so that role is very much important now because, these people who are, let's call it, even if we are calling it PMO, these are the role who will always look for new PMIS, maybe Project Management Information System. They will look for new methodology. It is their job to bring and define the right processes, right tools. So they are the infrastructure. They provide the infrastructure support to the project and program manager. Project manager will not create the risk register, stakeholder register, or maybe the requirement register, issue log, change log, communication log. This is the job of that PMO. PMO will ensure that there is standardization, that every projects within the organization follow the standard way of working, so that system operating, they create the operating process, the procedure. So PMO job is, creating that framework, doing audit, whether those framework are being implemented the way it should be implemented. Though more because of Agile also, people think, okay, because we have flexibility in working, but still, even Agile way of working, PMO role is very important because though your sprint may be of 1 week to 4 weeks, but even the sprint has the sprint goal. Sprint also has the velocity. Velocity means how much story point we are doing and how the story point should be calculated. So the PMO provides that infrastructure support, the processes, the tools, the trainings, the tolerances. The PMO job is to ensure that be that governance role and give that project manager, give the program manager those value, so that and the project manager role is in during the project life cycle also. Many times one project manager is there and suddenly he quit the job and new project manager is coming. Sometimes there the PMO job is very important, that how that transition happens, how the role shift happens, how when different methodology, different way of working. So PMO can give you that framework. PMO can give you, we call it, is a core of the infrastructure. He provide all the knowledge management support, all the best practices to do project. So though nowadays more because of Agile, people have started thinking that the processes can also change every second day. But I think so, some way of working, there have to be standardized, a standardized way of working, the standard protocol. That is the PMO job, where the flexibility to be given, how the decision-making support to be given. So PMO job is very important. I definitely do not see, I think so, over a period of time when the artificial intelligence will take so much of will come into, influence. PMO role will become more prominent, and it is the PMO job to ensure that the right tools, the right way of working, because there's a lot of AI. See, today I'll tell you now, even some cyber security threat also. This AI, those hackers, they are also using AI to hack the system. It's becoming very, very easy today. Okay. So what I'm
Exactly.
trying to tell you, PMO job is, setting those cultural, that what is right thing, what is wrong thing, defining those metrics, defining the right measurement criteria, defining, setting the right culture, because culture is the environmental factor. That's what PMBOK guide says. It is the PMO job to build that culture in terms of right following the processes, how the human side to be looked on, human intelligence, that controlling. So that is where PMO job is very, very important. And I think it will become more prominent role in coming days, when this agile environment going to have a lot
And
of influence in project and program. Yeah.
I have seen project managers define templates for projects, and there are multiple project managers. PMO, as you are saying, is valid to standardize the templatization and processes on a company-wide processes to manage all projects the same way. There are different nature of projects where different processes and different templates are required.
Yeah.
Okay. Contrary side, Agile gives that kind of a flexibility. Don't follow documentation, follow the value delivery every sprint. Okay. That is a different angle to look at same kind of a project, handle it differently, where documentation is not given as important as of the PMO part of it. In this comparison, and I have seen personally, project managers define templates based on what can work well in that very project, in that very team, in that very schedule. So these are different parameters that help define the templates to manage all those things required in that project to deliver. PMO enforces to manage the templates the standardized way. So here comes the conflict, right? Agile part of the world says documentations are not important. PMO says, do it my way. Project managers say, oh, I can use it, but I have to make changes to it to fit it better in my team, in my project. Then I think PMO is creating problems here more than solving it.
This is some misunderstanding here, I feel. See, if I read the Agile Manifesto, okay, Agile Manifesto says working software over comprehensive document. We are not saying documentation are not required. We are saying comprehensive documents are not required. Working software is more important than the comprehensive document. So first of all,
PMO says documentation is a baseline
no,
that
no.
you have to follow.
See, PMO, even in Agile PMO also, see, we are saying if some compliance document, regulatory document, if they are there, then they are must. But we do not want HLD, LLD, the low-level design document, the high-level design document. So I think so. This is where people have not understanding the manifesto correctly. Okay. So PMO saying do not work on the comprehensive document. What is more important for the business is the working software. Working software is more important, working product. Okay, because Agile is a software, it came, but now we can also say working product is more important than the So I agree that we do not need the full FRS, functional requirement, SRS, software requirement, HLD, LLD. I'm also not in favor of such a low-level, high-level document. But there are some compliance documents, there are some contractual documents which are must. So PMO job, even in Agile, it is ensuring that such document, even those documents which should be, should not create any legal conflict, compliance conflict, because this is what many Agile team thinks now. They don't need a document. We don't need the HLD, we don't need the LLD, but we definitely need those, those business documents. We definitely need those contractual documents and all. So PMO have to standardize those aspects, I think so. So that's what I want to tell you. It is misinterpretation that PMO in Agile, its role is to ensure the right documents which are can otherwise fail the projects and have the customer satisfaction related issue. Those things still needs to be done, and PMO job, in fact, in Agile become more popular because people have think Agile, nothing is required, no process required, no document required, no output required. Even failing fast is good. Even we fail, nobody will, because so it is not like that. Failing fast, but learn it and deliver in the next sprint. Deliver in the, you can't just say in next time. Yeah. So PMO job is to train and ensure that work with the Scrum Master, or maybe the different role. You rightly said that whether you can call Agile coach, team coach, Scrum Master, the different designation which are now popular in the organization, whether you call Agile coach, team coach, or Scrum Master. But PMO have to still guide the Scrum Master, support him in handling the impediments in the in that iteration, in the sprint. So PMO job, even defining the definition of done. Definition of done, that is, we in traditional management jargon we call it success criteria or key performance indicator. In sprint we call it DOD, definition of done. Every sprint must have definition of done. But what can we call definition of done? That PMO can give that that criteria. PMO can give that and the definition of done should not be from technical, but from the business side. So that is why PMO job is very, very important now, where, this role, as I said earlier also, this role is very, very important because he will, tomorrow the new thing will come. Agile was created so much of buzz. Now AI and ML, machine learning, artificial intelligence is creating buzz. Tomorrow, who knows, some new technology will create buzz. So PMO will always ensure that how this new way of working can be, whether Agile, whether artificial intelligence, how they can be adapted the best, under the best, organizational policies. It should not conflict with them. Support the business objective. That is what is the PMO job, and it is going to be a very, very supportive job for those project and program manager in the organizational initiative now. Yeah.
Great. No, that's a great insight. And what I understand is, from your perspective, it is just underrated, but PMO's presence, it's like a mature person in the room who can help you when you are struggling, and it will always help you to save you.
I'll tell you now, if I have to correlate with the human life, daily life, it's like they are your parents who gives you that support when you are struggling. They give
That's
you,
what I was thinking.
they give you that experience. They give you those, the value that, do not worry. So I always feel that PMO is like a parents to project and program manager who will shape them, who will give them good project management principle, or will share that experiences. Even probably parents may not know the latest way of working, the kind of thing, but it is not just the project management, not just about that only Agile or only artificial intelligence. We already said project management is all about that business acumen. We said project management is all about that power skill. So I think so this is where, PMO job, to develop that power skills, develop that business acumen, and also develop that way of working, such as Agile way of working, artificial intelligence way of working. There the PMO can deliver such training, such competency, and such value for projects and program management initiative.
Okay, so when you want to hire somebody, you are a CEO of the company and the huge organization with multi-million dollars in revenue, with thousands of people, you are hiring a project manager. Who you would look for? Like the persona of an ideal candidate in today's market, with AI shift and lot of volatility, uncertainty, and with all that, like, who would you look for to keep growing on your business?
I think so. Thank you for asking this question. Now, I feel, today, learning today, quickly, there are people who can adapt any skills. They can learn. Today, even some time back, video editing was so much difficult. Let's say marketing, let's say meta marketing was difficult, let's say design thinking was difficult. There are some role today which are very, very popular. Let's say design thinking role, or maybe some. What I want to tell you that, I will not hire people based on their technical skills, because I think so today, there are AI-based tool which is making your video editing job just within a minute. Okay, and they're making your design aspect within. They can give you different solution design, different architect. What I will look into today into my next any role is more their attitude, how their attitude toward the toward the new learning, toward, because as you know that technology is evolving. Okay, business landscape is evolving. I will hire people for their empathy. I will hire people for their attitude. I will hire people for their their cultural aspect. How they can work with cross cultural environment where there are a lot of virtual environment today where organization has client virtually, they have business functions working virtually. So how this team can adapt to different where your business team is from different culture, is maybe let's say European culture, where you have to you have to do some joint application design. We call it JAD session. Then in this case, sometime the respect to that culture, is very, very important, because I've seen people who are technically very sound, many a time technically very sound, but culturally very weak. Emotionally very weak. They give up when they see little bit of they're not able to navigate the complexity. Okay.
Yeah.
So I will look into this is what I look into my hiring. How can they navigate complexity when things are not going the way it should go? Then how is their behavior at that point of time? Okay, and I put them into that scenario. I give them that real scenario that I ask their experience, what situation you have handled such situation, and I put them in such situation, and I see even I look into their their cultural how adaptable to their different culture, and culture has many factors. But I want to tell you, these are is very, very important than just having AI knowledge. That's what I'm saying today. Anybody can learn any skills within a week time. Trust me now. But as I said again, those core principles of management, those core values, the core attitude of adapting to different and enterprise enterprise culture. That is what is very, very important in hiring in today's time now. Yeah.
I would like to hire this person as well. This is great. All right. Thank you, Kailash. We have very useful conversation, and I hope listeners and audience will definitely get advantage for this. And I really appreciate your insights, sharing your experience, and for being on the show. Thank you.
Thank you, Nav. I really enjoyed this session with you, and I seriously hope that our audience get benefited from this. That's the core purpose of doing this podcast, where through your wonderful questions, and whatever my experiences of last, as I said, 25 years into different domain, I just tried my experiences to share with this community, the P3M community, project, program, portfolio community, and I seriously hope they will like it. And thank you for inviting to your podcast. So I really, really appreciate this. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it's very useful. Thank you.
Thank you, Nav. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I truly appreciate your time and attention. If something in this episode sparked a new idea, shifted your thinking, or even just made you nod along, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We are just getting started. We might have made mistakes. I promise we will improve. In every episode, I'm going to dive deeper into such conversations that impact us. And hey, if you're vibing with what we are building here, share it with someone you trust. That's how good ideas spread. Until next time, think holistic, think economics, think fast, and keep leading forward.